Welcome to Everything with the Landors. I'm Deshay, and today I will be discussing everything that has to do with airborne school, as far as why I went airborne, what I experienced with airborne school, and a few tips that'll help you in case you want to go the airborne route within the Army. As you know, I'm a 42 Alpha. I'm an airborne paratrooper. So a few things of just why I went airborne. When I went to my recruiter, he gave me a few options of, regular 42 Alpha Airborne or 42 Alpha Airborne Ranger. Me, myself, I'm a little bit afraid of heights. So I figured, this would help me get over my fear. And I always wanted to do something new. I mean, yeah, going to the Army was something new, but I wanted to do something that was out of the ordinary for me personally. So I knew that going airborne was something that, it was a new experience for me, and it was just something that I could kind of brag about, honestly. So, signed the contract, went to basic, went to AIT, and then was shipped immediately to Fort Benning for airborne school. When I got there, of course, if you know anything about Army initial training, or if you don't, I'll let you know. When you go through your initial training, everything is pretty kind of herded. Like, there's not so much free time. So me being in airborne school was the first time that I was in the regular Army, as far as, hey, you go to your training, and then once you're done with your training, you're done for the day. So you can go and do whatever you want. So we got there. As soon as we got there, it was, hey, they dropped us off. Bus driver dropped us off with all our bags. We didn't know what to do. So we saw the staff duty building, the battalion building. We went in. We was like, hey, we just got here. We're airborne students. What do we do? They was like, hey, man, class doesn't start till Mondays. So go to the barracks, kind of get you a bed. In other words, hey, find you a bed and claim that it's yours, and just wait for further instructions. So found the barracks. They told us, yeah, you'd probably be ACO because ACO is picking up. Got a room, waited until the next day, and that's when we got further instruction. We met up at about 5:30, 05, and that's when we processed. Got our actual barracks, went through everything, learned all the rules. This right here is a no-go. You have to be completely shaven in airborne school, no mustache, even though it's an Army regulation. In airborne school, you cannot have a mustache. So, went through that, learned all the rules, got all of our equipment, and just waited until Monday, because that's when we started. 05, I think, is when we did the PT test. That's the first thing that you do, PT test. Because if you cannot pass the PT test, then you cannot be in airborne school. How they do it is they will give you 2 chances. So if you fail any event, push-ups, sit-ups, or the run in airborne school, they will give you another retake of the PT test. You fail that, you're out of the course. So went through that. And honestly, the biggest thing, airborne school is not hard. So for everybody out there that's thinking about doing, hey, I want to join the Army, or I'm in the Army and I'm just thinking about going airborne, it's not a hard school. If you can run and you can listen, then you will pass. Went through a lot of runs. I mean, at first, you're just, training. You run everywhere. Let me get that point across. You run everywhere. In OCPs, PTs, you run everywhere. From every training site to every training event, you are running there. Did that the first week, I want to say, was ground week. It's ground, tower, and then jump week. Don't quote me on that because I may be wrong, but it's either a switch between ground and tower. It may be tower or ground, but I want to say it's ground, tower, and then jump. So went through First week, you learn basically just how to land, the proper techniques of how you exit an aircraft, how correct body position, what to expect, all of that. So we went through many training exercises of how to land, feet and knees together, knees at a slight bent, so that way you're not embracing the ground whenever you jump, because that will cause injury. Went through all of that. Tower week was kind of the same. You're basically jumping out of the 32-foot tower. And it's just to give you an experience of, hey, you jumping out of the aircraft. This is what you need to do. Keep a strict body position. Get out how you need to get out. And it's just to train you on whenever you actually do jump out of the bird. Last week is just jump week. So my jump week was actually pretty, I don't want to say extraordinary, but with airborne, you have to understand that the weather conditions is everything, as far as also your aircraft availability. We had all our aircrafts ready. We had no problems, and the weather was perfect. So we did one daytime jump on the first day. We did another daytime jump and a nighttime jump second day, and then we did another daytime jump and nighttime jump on the third day, and that created our 5 jumps for you to pass airborne school. You need 5 jumps. Everyone that you talk to within the airborne community may be different. I did 1 Hollywood, and then the rest were all combat. 2 daytime combats, 2 nighttime combats. Some people that you talk to, depending on aircraft availability and the way the weather worked, they may have did all Hollywood, or they may have did all combat. It differs. It really just depends on the weather and how many aircraft the Air Force can get to you. So yeah, did that, and then graduated a day after that. So we jumped Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Did maintenance on Thursday as far as cleaning up, shoot, shake out, and just getting ready to graduate. Friday graduated, got on the bus, went to Fort Bragg. So one of the things that I experienced as far as airborne school was you have to be able to run. Have to be able to run. As far as just running everywhere, or you do about 2 4-mile runs and 2 5-mile runs. You cannot drop out. Anytime you fall out of one run, they give you another chance. You fall out another run, you are dropped from the course. That's a big thing within the airborne community, which is a small community. That's another thing that I did not mention in the beginning. Whenever you go airborne, it's a very small community. There's only so many duty stations that you can actually go as an airborne paratrooper. Alaska's 1, Fort Bragg, which I am at right now, and then Italy. Now, if you are Special Forces, then you can go to a few different ones. You could go to Washington, Georgia. You could go to a few. You go to Benning. You could go to Stewart. Germany has a Special Forces unit there, as well as Florida. So there's a few different places you could go if you are SF. If not, if you are just a regular airborne paratrooper, the only places you could go is Alaska, Fort Bragg, and the mighty 82nd, which is what I am in, and then the 173rd, which is out in Italy. So yeah, running is big. Following instructions, because they have a no tolerance as far as you get 3 spot reports, you are out. You get 2 spot reports for the same thing, you are out. So say, you go down there unshaven, they give you a spot report on that. A few days later, you go down unshaven again, you get a spot report on that again, you are out of the course. So just be careful on that, man. Just make sure you are, you follow all the rules. If they say, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that to the T. Because you don't want to get dropped for something so simple. It's especially when the course is very easy. You can, if you're in physical shape, which you should be, especially if you're initial entry, coming straight from basic AIT straight there, man, you should be in tip-top shape. So the physical standards should not waver you. It's just, hey, I need to follow instructions. They say do this, I need to do this. Whenever I was there, the runs were big. When they are calling out cadence during the runs, that's the thing in the Army, they will call out cadence. You make sure you echo that cadence, because the sergeant major will be running through your formation looking for people who are not calling cadence. And if you're not calling cadence, he will take your dog tags, and that is a spot report right there. Get 2 of those for that same thing, you are out. So it's just too simple. You don't wanna get kicked out for something as simple as that. The jumps, man, it's a thing of nerves. As far as, like I said, I initially thought of it as, hey, I want to do something different, but also I'm scared. I'm terrified of heights. You know, anybody who talked to me, I am terrified of heights. So that was the thing of me. It's like, man, maybe it'll help me get over the fear. Bit of honesty, it did not. Because whenever you're in the bird, you don't even think of it. Because you're in the bird and then doors open, no matter what jumper you are, unless you're the first. Because if you're the first jumper, then you're standing in the doorway, looking at the horizon, ready to jump. But other than that, if you're the second, third, fourth, fifth, you don't even think of it, because you're standing there waiting. And when they call go, it's just instinct. Your training takes over. You hand off your static line. You're out the door. You're keeping a nice tight body position, counting to 6. Your chute deploys. Now it's okay. Now I need to look. Where's my lower jumper? He has the right of way. Jumpers around me. I need to pull slip away from them. Now I'm 250 to 200 meters away from landing. Now I need to get my feet and body ready, lower my equipment, get ready to land so that way I do not hurt myself. Which is another thing, because your adrenaline kicks in when you get out the door, but to be completely honest, your rate of injury is way, way, way greater as far as your landing than you exiting. Don't get me wrong, if you exit the wrong way, you can hit the bird, you can, get tangled, all of that. But the most important thing is your landing, because if you get out the right way, you'll be okay. Now you need to make sure that you land correctly, so that way you're not hurting your legs, hurting your ankle, doing anything that can cause you physically damage. So, yeah, I mean, it's a simple course. 3 weeks. As long as you follow instructions, you'll be straight. You'll get out the bird 5 times. You love it. It's an adrenaline rush. Take it from someone who's absolutely terrified of heights. It's just adrenaline rush. Like, you get out the bird, once everything's good, your heart's pumping real quick, but you're good, man. As long as you're training and you remember your training, that takes place, and it's instinct, because you do it so much, it's just instinct. So, you'll be okay. As far as just a few tips for all of you out there who are thinking about going to airborne school, on the way to airborne school, the number one thing I suggest, get you some different boots. Get you comfortable boots where you're comfortably running from one training site to the other. I'm a cheap person, I can't lie. I still have my initial boots that were issued to me in basic training. They're a little thicker on the sole. Once you break them in, they're comfortable, but they are heavy. A lot of people in AIT or during family day and graduation, you have a chance to go around base, no matter where you're doing basic, and you can buy your new boots, buy whatever you want. I suggest you do that. I didn't. Like I said, I'm cheap. So I was like, hey, I want some Nike boots, this is that. But then I was looking, I was like, 160, 150. I did not want to pay that. So I was like, hey, these are comfortable. I'm sticking with these. But in hindsight, I wish I would have got some Nikes or Oakleys, whatever brand is more comfortable for you. Go with that, because you will do a lot of running. In hindsight, it got me faster as far as my 2-mile run, because running heavy boots every day just gets you faster, because I'm running these heavy things, and then I go to PT and I'm running regular running tennis shoes. So, the work that I put in with these heavy shoes will pay off in the back end. But just for you being more comfortable, like, get some boots that are better for running, because you will run everywhere. especially during jump week. You will run from the barracks to the pack shed, and the pack shed is where you don your chute and you wait to get on the bird for you to jump. That's about a mile and a half away, and it is not a fun run at all, especially depending on what time you go to airborne school. I went in the spring going towards summer, so it was very hot and humid in the morning. So that was a struggle. It wasn't something that was like, hey, I'm about to fall out of this run. But it was a struggle, especially in those heavy boots. So get you some comfortable boots. Second tip I have is just be mentally prepared what you're doing. For a human being to jump out of a perfectly operating aircraft is not normal. So you have to be ready for what you're about to do. And the training helps, but when those doors open, I can tell you from experience, when those doors first open for your first jump, you will be looking outside like, what am I about to do? So if you can mentally prepare for, hey, I'm about to jump out of an aircraft, maybe you're an adrenaline junkie, so you might like that type of stuff. Me, I was not like that. Yes, I wanted to challenge my fear of heights, but when those doors opened, it became real. And I was like, hey, I'm about to jump out of an aircraft. So I feel like if I was a little bit more mentally prepared and could picture myself, hey, you about to jump out of a plane at 1,000 feet, 12,000 feet, 1,200 feet, like you need to be mentally prepared for that. That'll help you. I mean, it'll help you with nerves because everyone's nervous their first time. You're going to be nervous your first time, but if you're mentally prepared for that, then it may help with your nerves just a tad bit. And that's really just the big two tips that I have. I mean, comfortable boots will help you. I would say be in shape, but if you're at initial training, then you're going to be in the best shape that you can be in the Army. Coming straight from basic to AIT, where they keep that strict regimental PT session on you, you'll be all right. Now, if you're TDY there, like you've been in the Army 2-3 years, and you just decide to go airborne, that's where that tip will come into play as far as be ready to run and be training on running, because that is the biggest thing. If you cannot run, you will not make it through airborne school. And the runs aren't that hard. Like, they're not going super fast. It's just you having the endurance to make the runs. So yeah, man, that's my 3 biggest tips. Just get some new boots, comfortable boots that you can run and do everyday operations in, because if you feel like you can make it in those heavy initial entry boots, by all means do it. I did it. But if I could go back in time and do airborne school again, I would definitely buy me some good Nike boots or something that fit like a tennis shoe, so I wasn't struggling so much as far as on the run. 2, mentally prepare yourself to jump out of a plane. You are jumping out of a plane. That's the main reason you're there. All the training is for you to initially jump out of an aircraft at 1,200 feet. So, just be prepared for that, and don't be. It should help you with your nerves, because like I said, first time that those doors open and you're stood up and you're hooked up, your stag line's good, and you're just waiting to get out of the aircraft, it's gonna hit you. Believe me, I don't care who you are, what you do, it's gonna hit you. Like, it's not natural human instinct for someone to jump out of a perfectly good aircraft. So it's gonna hit you. But if you're mentally prepared, then it may help you a little bit more than me whenever I was nervous. Honestly, what helped me was I was the 3rd jump on my first ever jump, and the 2 guys in front of me jumped with no hesitation. So at that point, it was like, all right, let's go. Not everyone may think that. So if you can mentally prepare yourself as much as you can, do that. And then the 3rd is, if you're going to be a TDY soldier, if you're not initial entry, get in the best physical shape as far as running as you can, because that is the biggest thing. You won't fail anything else if you have your mind, set to the goal besides running. Like, if you can't run, you won't make it. Believe me. That is the thing that drops most people. Besides the PT test, running, the runs gets everybody else. Because once you get to jumping, once you do your first jump, unless you just a person was like, hey, this is just not for me, the next 4 jumps are a breeze, like literally a breeze. So, yeah, man, that's my tips. That's what I experienced in airborne school. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. If you think I left out anything, if you've been to airborne school and you think I left out anything, feel free to, comment and create dialogue at the bottom. We will definitely correspond with you. And until the next Military Monday, y'all stay up. And this is Everything with the Landois.